Hello, my name is Johan from Restoration Bike, and in this video I'm going to troubleshoot a front derailleur not shifting to the biggest ring. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It's always appreciated. So I bought this Killer V from 1998 secondhand, and the previous owner had decided to change the entire group set. Among other things, he also bought a new set of wheels to the Deore XT group set from 2009. I now believe that he actually also bought the group set secondhand, and that's not a bad thing per se, but he also decided to install it himself, except for the bottom bracket, for which he didn't have the right tools. And the entire setup is not without its problem. For one thing, the front derailleur doesn't shift. So the first thing I do is to set the barrel adjuster to its outer limit all the way back into the shifter, so I have enough leverage to put small tension on the shifting cable. So all the way in and then one rotation back out. Then I also set the limiter screws all the way up, so there is basically no limit either for the front derailleur to the smallest ring and the biggest ring. And I set it to the smallest, the biggest ring in the back, so the chain is closest to the frame. And then I set tension to the cable. So I know that when the chain is closest to the frame on the smallest ring in the front, the biggest ring in the back, it shouldn't rattle in the front derailleur cage. I don't have a cable tensioner, so I just lift the front derailleur up with my fingers and then hold the cable in place with this pair of pliers. And then I noticed that there was this like 2 millimeter gap between the C-tube and the derailleur, even in its lowest position. And I noticed that they used a bracket mount instead of the more classic C-tube clamp. And a bracket mount is necessary when you have like a weird rear suspension frame where a normal clamp cannot be used. But this caused issues, because even after all that I'd done, I would never be able to get the front derailleur to the biggest ring. So what I did is I made sure it moved away from the frame by putting this piece of rubber. It's from a life-proof iPhone mount. Could also be from, a bicycle light that you put on your handlebar. I put it in between the C-tube and the bracket or the derailleur, and it immediately solved my issues. So my conclusion is that, first off, you have to be very wary of installing new group sets on older frames, especially if you try to do it yourself, because in this case this bike had all kinds of issues. So it will give me more material for future videos, so that's a good thing.